Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Kurhadash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power, and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to your apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching His truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Trying to put a spiritual bug in your Hebrew Israelites' ears, your so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and your speckled birds. And what is a speckled bird? That'd be a Hebrew Israelite that look like some of the heathen nations, like for example, a Hebrew Israelite that look like a so-called white person, so-called Chinese person, etc., etc. I got some videos lined up related to war and all these nations bumping heads with one another. I'm going to play these videos. I'm going to get into the scripture my best ability, say whatever I got to say through spirit and power. Yahweh Bashim Shah, the Holy Spirit, the Quran, Dash. Lord want to be on me. Let's get it.
The U.S. Space Force was just a fantasy, but now it's a full-fledged branch of the U.S. military. In this 7 News Salutes, I'm explaining the high-level proposals about America's next military branch. America's military branches were born out of necessity and changing times. As the colonies prepared for a revolution, our founding fathers created the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps in 1775. New technology led to the U.S. Army Air Corps in 1926, which in 1947 became the Air Force. New threats led to the U.S. Space Force in 2019. And right now, lawmakers are mulling a possible new military
Hey, hold on. Wait, a new one?
branch. The U.S.
And that's my first time even playing that video. So I'm not really expecting. I didn't know they were going to start talking about new. Well, say a new branch. But I was guessing Space Force. Which, you know, Space Force is going to be used to fight the Lord up in space. Yeah, they going to get swatted like flies, bro. They going to get shot down like... I mean, they going to get their asses fucked up out there.
Cyber Force.
Even for the
Cyber Force. Oh, so it's a new branch for fighting the cyber... Oh, for cyber attackers and shit. Oh... Goodness gracious, what kind of shit is that?
those of us who don't focus on cyber issues or national security issues day to day, it's becoming a kind of a headline that you can't ignore. So for the United States, China is the
and you know, they say the last people to be sent out to fight hands on and, you know, with guns and shit be the Air Force. Well, now it's these cyberhead niggas, these cyberpunk niggas.
most sophisticated, most advanced, most persistent cyber threat actor.
Lauren Williams is with the Center for Strategic and International Studies. She helped lead a 10-month-long study that brought in leading experts in military, academia, and the private sector to explore how to create a cyber force and what it
Why don't you just use AI? You use AI for everything. Shit.
would look like.
We don't have a military service that is responsible for recruiting, for training, and equipping, and also retaining.
Oh, you can recruit easily. All you gotta do is get some of these hackers, especially these ones who got a record and shit. That's what they always recruit, especially when it comes to cyber. It's like trying to get somebody who can hack, you know, all that shit, man. Somebody trying to hack in a U.S. federal on some network and shit. Yeah, you can easily get one of them type of individuals.
Cyber service members, and so each of the existing services today is doing that in their own way, and that necessarily leads to kind of a fragmented force generation environment.
The report found a properly equipped cyber force would need about 20,000 active duty uniformed personnel, with up to 5,000 National Guardsmen.
Well, goddamn, fuck that shit. You ain't gonna need them them type of heads to they'll fight for a war, not to fight for no cyber shit.
And 6,000 civilians. The new branch would take about 12 to 18 months to be created, all at a cost of roughly $11 billion.
When that happens, we have the playbook now for how a cyber service will be set up from day one.
It would take an act of Congress to build this new branch. Lawmakers have discussed the proposal, but nothing has been approved yet. So it remains to be seen whether this will come to pass. But thanks to this report, the instruction manual is already written.
Whatever. Alright, let's get some real shit.
From the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, the Ego 22-inch aluminum deck mower with
Berlin awash in camouflage and young fit soldiers. These ads are
That's a hell of an ad right there.
part of a large campaign aimed at young Germans like Edgar. Just after his 18th birthday, Edgar received this letter. He had to register his height, physical fitness, and his willingness to fight.
It's like a bar where you can tell from 0 to 10 how much you want to join the military, and I said 0 because I'm nothing interested.
The military sent out some 300,000 letters like this. So far, just 530 young people have signed up. Germany wants some 80,000 more troops, and the defense minister says if enough people don't volunteer, he could bring back mandatory conscription. However, an increasing number of Germans are registering as conscientious objectors. Already this year, nearly 6,000 have said they will refuse to serve, significantly more than the whole of last year. Meanwhile, the military is spending some $80 million on recruitment advertising this year, double what it spent in 2021, before Russia invaded Ukraine.
In an effort to drum up interest in serving...
Well, damn, they even trying to... Oh, man, they even using, like, whatever the hell this is used for, food service, advertising through the food. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
In the military, the armed forces have been handing out these free kebab papers to shops across Germany, advertising a career in the military. It says a career in the military is a career with everything.
They've also sent out more than 600,000 invitations to teenagers, like 17-year-old Pavel. But he says Germany should spend money on education rather than rearmament.
No, they gonna be fuck the recruiting shit. They gonna start drafting these mother jokers. When they ain't getting their numbers, they gonna start recruiting. That's what I was saying in that first video. They talking about they need, how much they said, 20,000 servicemen for the new branch of cyber security in the military. I'm like, man, get the fuck out, scrap that shit. Them niggas gotta get suited in the boot and give their ass a damn a gun that's already been used, and but it's serviceable, and send their ass out there to become what you call that shit. I just call just go out there and get killed. Be a bullet catcher. They don't need to be damn typing keys on the keyboard. Fuck, they need to be pulling triggers. Shit. And they gonna start drafting these motherfuckers, forcing them into the not Air Force, but armed forces.
I don't want to serve in the army because I don't want to go die for a state that...
And he sounds American.
Doesn't do anything for me, that doesn't care for me, and...
You don't sound like you got a German accent. And I'll pause the video for 1 minute 44 seconds. 1 minute 44 seconds. All praise you about Shemal Shah, the Wadi about Shemal Shah.
And rather cares about profits and about investing more into military and asserting global dominance.
Oh, never mind. I thought he was American. He had like an American accent for a second. But he sound clear when he's speaking English.
When Parliament voted through plans to register military-aged men last December, thousands of German students protested. Edgar's helped organize several more walkouts from his school since.
It's pretty scary when German politicians speak about having the greatest army in Europe and stuff like that, and you're like, wait, we had that before and it didn't end pretty well for us and for the rest of the world.
8 decades after the defeat of Nazi Germany, Europe is again at war. 70% of Germans say they now support spending more on the military. But the question remains if there will be enough young Germans willing to fight in it. Rebecca Collard, Al Jazeera, Berlin.
Oh, yeah. I was outside for a second. Didn't know when my dog wanted to come in. Now she's in. I'm going to read 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 33, because this is going to be happening to all these countries, especially here in America. What does it say? 1,000 U.S. troops dead. Oh, man, I add that in, too. I didn't even see that. I just add that shit in, bro. I add that video in now. Let's see what this is about when I get a chance to play it. I'll put it right here. And all these videos are just the way this is organized is just by time frame. Like this one was like 3 days ago. No, this was a day ago. The other one before then was like 3 days ago, and the rest of them are pretty recent, posted recently. But anyway, 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So yeah, them Germans and all these niggas, man, they sending out pamphlets and what else they sending? They advertise, man. You know we at way, man. It's getting serious. They willing to to put a big old vinyl advertisement on a train and give out 600,000 pamphlets and advertise like no other to get these motherfuckers to join in the military branch of I don't know which one, but all of them pretty much. They willing to go out that way, hey man, cause you know it's that time, bro. It's that time, man, for World War III. Hopefully I'm making sense of what I'm saying, cause sometimes I feel like I'm not. But as you can clearly see, the prophecies are popping off, man, and we at the time of World War III. Let's get to this next one. And they said 5,000 U.S. troops trapped on USS Abraham Lincoln. Flooded toilets and no rations. Yeah, because I would think it was, I don't know if it was this boat or it was another ship. I don't want to say a boat, but a ship. They're talking about the conditions on that ship was moldy. They ain't had time to clean shit up. It was not sanitized. They were living in filth and nastiness because they was all focused on war, but not cleaning shit up. But anyway, yeah, reality revealed. And they said I think somebody said that their ship is sinking. Somebody's ship, I think in probably the U.S. ship. Let me see. U.S. warship sinking. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I think no. What it was a Chinese ship, but it wasn't a warship. I think it was some kind of I don't know. It was a cargo ship that was sinking. Something. I don't know. Anyway.
A U.S. aircraft carrier has now spent 9 months at sea, and military families are raising serious concerns about what sailors are facing on board. Food shortages, moldy showers, broken toilets, and reported...
Yeah, they showing that silver Laffy Taffy looking tongue thing.
...falling morale. The carrier at the center of the controversy is the USS Abraham Lincoln, currently operating in the Middle East as the war with Iran continues. Around 5,000 sailors and Marines have been serving aboard the carrier for roughly 9 months, and one number stands out. The Lincoln has reportedly spent 208 consecutive days at sea, more than any other U.S. aircraft carrier in the modern era. According to military family members who spoke to MS Now, the crew is exhausted from the long deployment and demanding operational tempo.
They try to keep that shit hush-hush, but people calling to the, or sending messages to their family members about this shit.
Families reportedly described long lines for meals, shortages of basic supplies such as soap and toothpaste, broken toilets, mold in showers and laundry facilities.
Yep, moldy. Let me make this screen bigger.
That are not working properly. There are also claims of food shortages.
They go that look like a tongue. Goodness gracious, bro. America's supposed to be the greatest country in the world, the greatest military, but it got the shittiest food. Oh, what was it? The U.S. Army. They giving some new shit they got. I was like, man, what the fuck is this? They getting some kind of new stuff where they got healthy food. Meanwhile, people that's out in the sea, they ain't getting shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. They look like you could slap the shit out of somebody with it. Heck yeah, you can slap somebody out, knock their ass out with that damn thing. Just slap them, psh, you know?
And a backlog of mail and supplies. The concerns became serious enough that military families confronted Navy leadership this week. According to recordings cited by MS Now, Navy officials acknowledged problems with toilets and said they were working to address shower concerns. They also acknowledged a backlog of food and mail, reportedly because moving supplies from Bahrain to the ship has become more difficult during the war. And this is not the first time food quality aboard the Lincoln has come under scrutiny. Earlier this year, photos reportedly showed sailors being served small portions and unappealing food.
What the fuck is that, Mo?
That led some members of Congress to call for
What the fuck is that?
Investigations. The Navy, however,
is that a prison cell? I don't know.
However, denied that the ships were facing food shortages.
All that money they got in these damn fighter jets, but when it comes to feeding they servicemen on them ships, man. Yeah.
saying the USS Abraham Lincoln and USS Tripoli had sufficient food and healthy options for their crews. Now, families are raising another concern, whether prolonged fatigue and poor living conditions could eventually affect safety and performance on board. One family member even claimed that holes had been spotted on the carrier's flight deck, but the Navy's Fifth Fleet spokesperson denied that allegation and said,
Of course,
the Lincoln remains fully capable of meeting all mission requirements. The situation also comes after another carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, faced its own quality of life problems during an extended deployment, including repeated toilet failures and a laundry room fire that required repairs in port. For the USS Abraham Lincoln, the key issue now is endurance. The carrier remains in the Middle East, while its sailors continue operating through an unusually long deployment. And as families demand answers, the Navy is insisting that the ship remains operationally capable. But the question being raised is clear. How long can a crew maintain peak performance when the mission keeps going, while basic conditions on board remain a growing concern?
it's a damn shame. Let's get to the next one.
Wait, this is gold.
Europe River
Man, what the fuck?
Cruising, 13 days, $29.99, including flights.
Now, a Texas-based oil company with links to U.S. President Donald Trump is preparing to drill exploratory wells in Greenland despite not yet receiving the required permission from local authorities. Now, the development comes as U.S. President Trump continues to threaten to take control of the strategically important Arctic territory. Now, Greenland Energy, the company linked to U.S. President Donald Trump, plans to begin exploratory drilling in October, pending final regulatory approvals. In a recent letter to shareholders, Greenland Energy stated that following constructive talks with local regulators, it will initially drill one well instead of two. Jeff Landry, Louisiana governor, and Trump's appointed Greenland envoy claimed Greenland could produce oil as early as next year. While tensions have intensified as residents in the remote Jamestown land region spotted a tugboat unloading roughly a dozen containers on the coast. The Greenland government issued a stern statement warning that no landing approval had been granted and that proper permission need to be taken. Now, just 2 days after Greenland's warning, Donald Trump posted an image on Truth Social showing himself looming over a Greenlandic village with the caption, "Hello,
That devil.
Greenland." Greenland's semi-autonomous government controls its natural resources and faces two major risks. The proposed site sits inside a protected wetland region under the international
Nothing but Israelites there, the so-called Native Indians.
Ramsar Convention, for which Greenland had previously halted new oil licenses in 2021 over environmental concerns. But rejecting the project could anger the Trump administration, giving Washington leverage to push for greater influence.
Devil here to take shit.
Meanwhile, you can call it the Iran war, the West Asia crisis, the Hormuz turmoil, so on and so forth. For Donald Trump, it is, in his own words, a game of chess. At least that's what he is calling it right now. But it's a game with the global economy held hostage. He stands checkmated, it seems. He is in a trap of his own making, and he will not admit it. Earlier, the National Resistance Forces, a Yemeni government-allied force, said at least 7 were killed, 15 others injured in the attack. Mocha, remember, is one of the main ports under the Yemeni government and has been renovated to handle shipping that avoids the Houthi-led port of Hodeidah. The attack, according to the Yemeni Information Ministry, severely damaged port buildings and piers, as well as commercial goods and food supplies. In fact, the Iran-backed group struck a government-held port on Saudi Arabia's Red Sea coast, killing several people, deepening fears over threats to strategic West Asia shipping routes and also a potential return to the war. Earlier, the group spokesperson also said the Houthis had struck the oil facility on Saudi Arabia's Red Sea coast after the kingdom's energy ministry said it had extinguished that fire at the Jazan site. But let's just talk about what's been happening behind the scenes. What is the strategy at this point, and what is Trump considering? He has told Axios, "We are low-keying it with Iran," quote unquote. Let's just, for now, break down what he has said. According to him, we are low-keying it. Trump said during that phone call, "We are only semi-negotiating with them. We are just watching."
Oh my goodness, come on, nigga. And meanwhile, they're being attacked at the same time. Man, get out of here.
Iran with its huge inflation and the fact that they have no money, quote unquote. That's what he told Axios reportedly. He also claimed that Iran is in very bad shape economically.
And America ain't. America is shit.
And America getting their Iran is draining their ass down with the expense. I mean, draining their military. Well, they just say they missiles and shit. Yeah, they using all their resources. They draining America down. Anyway, and what was the strategy said Iran had? Was that to financially drain down their military or some shit like that?
Not just that, Trump said, quoting, "It will work out, it always works out, it's like a chess game." That's what he told Axios. And according to that report, President Trump has signaled that he is prepared to allow economic pressure on Iran to mount, as opposed to ordering a new military offensive. That's a clear shift, and the timing here is also very interesting. Remember, only about a week ago, Trump was reportedly on the verge of ordering a return to major combat operations. In an interview with Axios, he reportedly did not make any new military threats. It seems to be a shift in approach from exerting military pressure to actually putting economic pressure. But the question also is, will this shift in strategy work out? Given all that lies at stake, Trump would certainly hope that it does. At the same time, Trump said that with oil down to slightly over $75 a barrel, US consumers are feeling less pain from the war. Like he said, it always works out, but will it really? He says the pain is hardly there, but that is not the case. He also argues Iran's economy is buckling, pointing to the toll of the US naval blockade. That's what he tries to say, but here's a bit of a reality check for Trump. Here's what's happening in reality and behind the scenes.
Wait a minute, this nigga, hold on. This nigga can't, if he really said that shit, I'm just like, whatever.
This comes as Iran is absolutely not kneeling. In fact, it continues to defy the United States.
He said with the U.S. blockade of the Strait is hurting Iran, but Iran has got y'all niggas blocked and other nations blocked. It's hurt anyway.
Also, the pressure on
America.
Soil is only mounting for Donald Trump. Does he have enough time to play this waiting game, especially when the other side is not exactly signaling willingness to fold? Trump himself is facing a deadline. The midterms are approaching. Gas prices remain high. The war is getting more and more unpopular as far as the sentiment is concerned. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump indicated he could be willing to end the war without a formal nuclear deal. So what has he achieved then? And if Iran agrees to reopen the Strait of Hormuz is the condition that would allow Trump to declare an end to the conflict and claim victory without securing a comprehensive nuclear accord with Tehran. But then will that happen?
No. Anyway.
Remember, Tehran has set a high price for reopening that crucial waterway. Here's what else has happened in Iran that carries a lot of significance. The man who once wanted to save Iran's economy by taking Americans hostage has now been put in charge of Iran's security. Let's tell you more about who he is. Iran appointed.
Yeah, they say he's a new chief secretary, security or something.
Him as the secretary of its Supreme National Security Council, basically promoting a prominent hardliner and close ally of Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei to the role more than 5 months into that conflict with America, and he replaces Mohammad Zolgadar as second in command of the body that basically...
Let's get to the next one.
There is no place, there's no need, there's no practical application for
Poland and the Baltic states are tightening security around dams, power plants and gas infrastructure, and this amid fears that Russia could stage a false flag attack using Ukrainian drones. The warnings have triggered one of the most significant security responses in the region since the war in Ukraine began. Europe's eastern frontier is bracing for a new kind of threat, not tanks crossing borders, not missiles launched across the sky, but a possible false flag strike designed to create political chaos inside NATO itself. Lithuania, Poland, Latvia and Estonia have all raised concerns that Russia could stage an attack on critical infrastructure and blame Ukraine. Moscow has dismissed the accusations as scare stories, but the region is taking no chances. According to reports, Lithuania has already deployed the military alongside Rio police to protect its liquefied natural gas terminal, an oil product terminal, a major power link with Poland, and the Kruonis pumped storage hydro plant. Latvia has increased security around all critical infrastructure, including the Daugava River Dam near Riga and the Inklu Kalns underground gas storage facility. Prime Minister Andris Gudberg says the risk of a hybrid threat is now higher than before. At the heart of the concern are intelligence assessments, suggesting the Russian military and domestic intelligence agencies may be preparing a staged attack using Ukrainian-made drones. Officials say the bigger fear is not only physical damage, but the possibility that such an incident could trigger confusion and division inside NATO headquarters in Brussels over how or whether the alliance should respond. In Poland, the response has spread across the energy sector. State energy giant Orlen is reportedly studying alternative gas import routes. case its main Baltic infrastructure is disrupted. Security has also been beefed up and stepped up around a power connection with Ukraine that helps stabilize the war-hit country's electricity grid. The anxiety is not limited to Eastern Europe. Germany recently reported finding a drone carrying explosives near Leipzig airport, officials describing it as a possible hybrid attack. Though no country has been blamed, for NATO's eastern members, the calculation is simple. Whether the threat materializes tomorrow or never, the cost of being unprepared is considered far too high.
Alright, get to the next one.
Do you support Israel and the...
Fuck no, y'all ain't Israel.
What if China launches an invasion of Taiwan and finds the island has turned the battlefield into a swamp? Taiwan is rehearsing a new kind of war using drones, unmanned boats, and missiles to hunt an invading force from the sea to the shore. But can Taiwan's Ukraine-inspired strategy really turn or stop a massive Chinese assault? Here's a report.
The invasion fleet is coming. The beaches are under attack. And suddenly the sky starts filling with drones. Along with that is intense artillery fire from ground-based forces. That is the battlefield Taiwan is preparing for during its massive 10-day Han Kuang military exercises. Taiwan is putting a new combat concept through its bases. The goal is simple. If Chinese forces cross the Taiwan Strait, make every kilometer of their advance dangerous. Taiwan is looking closely at Ukraine. Ukraine has turned cheap drones into some of the most important weapons of its war against Russia. Small unmanned aircraft can find troops, track armor, identify artillery, and attack targets far behind the front line. Taiwan wants to bring the tactic to an invasion across the Taiwan Strait. If that fails, then Taiwanese troops plan to use concrete barriers, barbed wire and HESCO walls to block a key bridge near Taipei in a drill to stop invading Chinese forces attempting to advance on the capital.
The enemy is landing via the Lanyang River, aiming primarily to seize Suao Port to either force an administrative disembarkation or disrupt our strategic resupply operations. Therefore, our mission is to destroy the enemy in the designated engagement area outside the port before they can reach it.
Taiwanese troops also simulated a nuclear, biological and chemical attack. Soldiers, tanks and armored vehicles were then decontaminated in an exercise designed to test the military's ability to respond swiftly to such attacks and return personnel and equipment to combat operations as quickly as possible.
What you see now is our decontamination station. Its main purpose is to assist in the removal of NBC contamination from our important combat equipment, such as armored vehicles and tanks, allowing our vehicles to recover quickly and ensuring the safety of our personnel.
China claims Taiwan is part of its territory and has threatened to use force to seize the island of 23 million people. To counter the mighty Chinese military, Taiwan has set an ambitious target of producing up to 100,000 drones every month by 2030. Why? Because Taiwan knows it cannot simply match China weapon for weapon. China has a vastly larger military and industrial base. So Taiwan is looking for another advantage: volume. Cheap drones can be produced faster than sophisticated missiles. They can be dispersed, they can be replaced, and they can force an attacker to spend expensive weapons defending against relatively inexpensive threats. But there is a major question: will it work against China? Well, Ukraine's battlefield experience offers valuable lessons, but Taiwan faces a completely different problem. Ukraine has fought primarily across land. Taiwan must stop an amphibious assault. China would have to move troops, armor, fuel and supplies across the Taiwan Strait and keep them moving under fire. That creates a massive vulnerability, but it also creates an enormous challenge for Taiwan. Chinese forces could attack drone production facilities, jam communications, destroy launch sites.
I would say China. What does Taiwan have with the Air Force? Do they have an Air Force? Pretty sure they do. But hell, China could send in some fighter jets and well, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not no military expert, but whatever.
Use electronic warfare and overwhelm defenses with missiles, aircraft and naval power. So Taiwan is not betting
use jets to whatever. Anyway.
Everything on drones. It is combining them with missiles, attack boats, mines, artillery and conventional forces. The message from the drills is clear. Taiwan does not expect to stop an invasion with one weapon. It wants to turn the entire battlefield against the invader. Bureau Report beyond World is One.
Gia is agentic AI for global HR compliance. You can
USA Facts believes
bruh.
Government data should be easy to access, understand, and use. Public data belongs.
As a Marine who has been deployed to foreign lands and based on ships and so on and so forth, it's in the hundreds. I believe the numbers are in the hundreds and possibly even 1,000.
Thousands. Not hundreds, it's gonna be thousands.
And if they're not those numbers yet, they're going to be much bigger than those numbers. Aloha from Tehran. You know, I just wanted to share some thoughts here. Number one, I know that they're lying about the death count of American service members. There is no doubt of this. The figures of Americans now dead, it's impossible to know the actual number, but my guess is, based on empirical evidence, eyewitness accounts, military experts, and just an overall understanding developed as a Marine who has been deployed to foreign lands and based on ships and so on and so forth. It's in the hundreds. I believe the numbers are in the hundreds and possibly even 1,000. And if they're not those numbers yet, they're going to be much bigger than those numbers. So this is number one. You know, I burned my passport in Baghdad 22 years ago with a sign saying, "Support your troops. Bring them home now." Why would I do that if I hate America? I don't want you to die for the Jewish state of Israel.
Amalek. This goddamn, you don't want to die for no wicked ass nigga named Amalek. Yeah.
And the fact that many Americans are learning to dislike the Jewish state, I'm telling you one more thing that none of the experts, even the ones that I respect massively, honestly, many good commentators are all getting it wrong on this one thing that they're not telling you. These policies being carried out by Donald J. Trump, these policies are not the folly of a narcissistic, horrendous, horrible, ghastly representative of America known as Donald Trump. It isn't that he is the egotistical narcissist on steroids that is behind the insanity and stupidity and the cannon fodder reality of sacrificing American sons, mostly, but daughters as well. Here's the truth. It isn't him or his delusions or his ignorance or any of that. It is because the chosen ones have decided,
so-called chosen ones,
long ago, that once America served its purpose as a Goyim slave state, that after America was done serving its purpose to die for the chosen ones,
so-called chosen ones,
that then America, your beloved America, would have to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
Yes, your nation is being bled dry, flushed down the toilet, purposely, willfully, so that Pax Americana can be replaced by Pax Judaica, Greater Israel. I have been saying this for decades, but now it's reality. So just know that as the entire economy of the world sits on the precipice of a cliff and falls off the edge, resulting in the death of millions, tens of millions, literally, willfully, chosen by the chosen ones, they will die of starvation and related diseases from the lack of clean drinking water, the ability to grow food, and all of the things that will come from this 1929 crash on steroids. Here in 2026, the chosen ones own Donald J. Trump and my birth nation, and they are setting it alight and setting us the stage for a civil war and anarchy. Here is my advice to you, America.
Actually, the Yahweh Shema Shah is setting all this up. Yeah, the Lord is setting up this famine, setting up civil wars. Yeah, division.
Since you did not listen.
Well, using Amalek and Esau Amalek to do so.
For all this time that I have been shouting from the rooftops, maintain the Republic, maintain the Constitution, arrest the traitors now and put them on trial with due process.
Oh, no. That's for Yahweh Shah to do that. And for the 144,000 to do that. Nobody on this planet gonna do that. But only the Lord, Yahweh Shah, gonna do that with his servants and the King David. You know, now there ain't gonna be nobody on this planet gonna be able to do all that. Anyway,
It's of law for treason. And then let us celebrate their convictions and hanging according to the law I swore an oath to protect and defend. I say this from Iran because Iran is against the Epstein class. It is against the Jewish state of Israel and has supported the Palestinian people, which have become my adopted family. That is why
I think he a Jake.
I'm here. This country is on the side of God. I am on the side of God. And I pray that my birth nation finds the way of God, truth, and justice.
Well, anyway, yeah, I lost my. I was gonna say something, I lost my train of thought. Let's get to the next video.
EVE Online is
A major escalation is being claimed on the battlefield, with Ukraine warning that North Korea could send up to 50,000 soldiers to fight alongside Russian forces.
I remember, I think it was 10,000 they sent one time, and then when they showed, they made it to, I guess they made it somewhere around Russia or so. They had access to the internet, and them niggas got addicted to porn. They ain't had porn over there where they were at in North Korea. When they got somewhere near Russia or whatever, then they would start watching porn. Shit, them niggas couldn't function right.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the figure has risen sharply from the 30,000 North Korean troops he estimated just last month. Zelensky is now calling on South Korea to step up support for Ukraine's air defense capabilities, as Kiev warns that North Korea is deepening its military cooperation with Moscow. He also said Ukraine has already found North Korean missiles on Ukrainian territory. Zelensky says the growing deployment could give Pyongyang valuable battlefield experience. He warned that North Korea will continue developing its knowledge of modern warfare while receiving military technology, licenses, and other tools from Russia. The latest warning comes as Ukrainian officials report that North Korean military personnel and equipment are already moving into Western Russia. According to a Ukrainian military intelligence official cited by Reuters, a North Korean missile unit has begun deploying personnel and equipment there. The unit could be equipped with as many as 120 ballistic missiles and 6 launchers for strikes against Ukraine. That would mark another major step in the military partnership between Moscow and Pyongyang. North Korea previously sent an estimated 14,000 troops to Russia's Kursk region in 2024, where they helped Russian forces fight against Ukrainian troops. Thousands of those soldiers were estimated to have been killed or wounded. But the cooperation goes far beyond manpower. Ukraine and independent assessments say North Korea has supplied Russia with millions of artillery and mortar rounds, along with ballistic missiles, long-range artillery, and multiple launch rocket systems.
When we are talking about how to help, financial resources are absolutely essential. However, simply resolving the money issue is not enough on its own. While that is certainly important, it is only one part of the equation. Those funds must be directed with great precision to ensure their impact is fully maximized within Ukraine. It is because Ukraine is fighting for its survival. In Ukraine, the tools we produce for our defense and for this fight are cheaper than in other countries. And that is precisely why we must fight for every single penny here. Sorry. And for every single day. What we don't.
Hold on, what did he say? What did Amalek just say?
Their impact is fully maximized within Ukraine. It is because Ukraine is fighting for its survival. In Ukraine, the tools we produce for our defense and for this fight are cheaper than in other countries. And that is precisely why we must fight for every single penny here. Sorry. And for every single day. What we don't see, what remains unknown, but I see everything, and I am fully aware, and we really need to work on this. We need additional funding so that the Ukrainian defense industry can produce twice as much as it does now.
Yeah, he need more funding so he can fund his cocaine habit.
Because the
cocaine not habit, his cocaine addiction.
Capacity is definitely already there. We're talking massive amounts of money. truly significant sums, billions of dollars. The president asked about this today, and I shared all the details. We won't discuss these figures publicly right now, but it's a fact that Ukraine lacks and will never have the vast resources Russia is pouring into this war. In Buda, we have what we need, both with European aid and aid from other countries, but additional money exclusively for Ukrainian production, that's what's needed.
Okay, the rest of the video is going to start playing all this shit. I don't want to hear this dork no more. Let's get to the next video.
What if I told you that the moment your book is published, there could be a giant billboard featuring you and your book in Times Square? And in addition,
Now, the US war on Iran has come as a boon for Russia and China. We just told you how Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping have emerged as the biggest winners. But apparently, Putin is planning to take advantage of the situation immediately. According to US...
There's certain countries that are cool with... certain countries in NATO that are cool with Russia. Ain't Turkey cool with Russia? Yeah, I think so. Anyway.
Intelligence, Putin wants to use this opportunity to undermine NATO or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This is a military alliance between North America and Europe. US intelligence says that Russia may be planning an attack on a NATO member. And it may even be a military incursion. That basically means a ground invasion of a NATO member. And that Americans added that it could happen as soon as this autumn. Talk about alarmist rhetoric. So let's break down the US claims and the reasoning behind them. Now, the first thing to note is that this is one possible scenario. US intelligence has presented reports on what Russia may be planning in the future. They've updated some of their earlier assessments. Initially, Washington believed that Putin would not target NATO members directly. This while he was busy with the Ukraine war. The Americans have always believed that Putin wants to disrupt NATO, but they thought that he was too preoccupied with the war in Ukraine. That calculation has now changed. US intelligence now believes that Putin could target NATO members even while the war in Ukraine rages on. Why does US intelligence believe this? According to them, it's because Russia has been suffering setbacks on the battlefield, and Putin is looking for a win to sell to the Russian public. You know that Ukraine has been launching strikes deep into Russian territory for quite some time now. Kyiv has targeted Russian oil refineries and fuel depots, and this has resulted in fuel shortages in some parts of Russia. This has hurt ordinary Russians, who are reportedly getting angry at Putin for failing to end the war. Now, according to US intelligence, Putin needs a win to quell the public anger, and he needs it fast. That's why the Americans think Putin may target a NATO member soon. Now, this may sound counterintuitive to you. Why would Putin risk a war with 32 countries when he hasn't been able to win a war against just Ukraine for so long? After all, NATO is a military alliance. An attack on one member is...
Ukraine ain't fighting this war by itself, no. I'm pretty sure they got the United States over there fighting too. And other nations fighting, but they making it seem like it's just Ukraine only. But they so desperate right now. Like say, what are they doing? Snatching up old men or any men to go fight their war. Yeah, they snatching any man that's being spotted. They snatching them up and forcing them into this shit. Anyway.
An attack on all of them. Collective defense is enshrined in Article 5 of the NATO treaty. So it seems ridiculous that Putin would attack. But not according to US intelligence. Washington is reportedly convinced that Putin wants to attack NATO to undermine faith in the alliance. He allegedly wants to show that Russia can bully a NATO member and the alliance will not respond. Now, this action could be sold as a major win to the Russian people. And it may also convince NATO members to stop putting faith in the alliance and get them to cooperate with Moscow instead. This is what American intelligence believes Putin is planning. But how would Putin manage to attack a NATO member without triggering the mutual defense clause? Now, US intelligence says that there are three possible scenarios that Putin could order cyber attacks on a NATO member. He could order unmarked groups to occupy some of a NATO member's territory. Or he could order a limited incursion by the Russian armed forces. A cyber attack is one of the least provocative actions Putin could take. But he has actually been accused of doing it before. Back in 2007, the Baltic nation of Estonia experienced a range of cyber attacks. These targeted Estonia's parliament, ministries, banks, and even media outlets. Estonia blamed Russia for the cyber attacks. However, the incident did not trigger NATO's mutual defense clause, and Estonia and Russia eventually resolved the issue bilaterally. The US intelligence says that Putin could order something similar again, just to wreak havoc on a NATO member. Option number 2 is orchestrating an attack by unmarked groups. This is also something Putin has been accused of doing before. In 2014, unmarked armed groups occupied the Ukrainian region of Crimea, and in a few weeks, the territory was annexed by Russia. US intelligence says this is a possibility again. The final option is the most dangerous, though: a direct incursion by the Russian military. Either type of ground operation would target eastern NATO members. 6 of them share a land border with Russia. There are the 3 Baltic nations: Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Then you have Poland, which borders the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad. Russia also borders Finland and shares a small land border with Norway as well. Out of these nations, US intelligence says that the Baltic nations and Poland are at the highest risk of land incursion. Both unmarked or Russian troops could enter through their shared borders. And then there's also the possibility of armed groups entering through Belarus. If the troops are unmarked, then Russia could deny direct involvement. That may prevent a collective NATO response under Article 5. But how could Russian troops get away with marching into NATO territory? Well, Poland believes that Russia may pretend it's a case of GPS failure, or Moscow could stage a fake rescue operation. Any incursion by Russian soldiers would put NATO on the highest alert. But the United States says Russia does not plan to start fighting. Washington says Putin will want to force talks, that he will negotiate an exit of the Russian forces. And according to the United States, Putin can sell this all as a victory. If Russian soldiers enter a NATO country and leave unharmed, Putin could showcase this as proof that Russia is more powerful than NATO. It is a risky move. Putin would have to hope that the Europeans will sue for talks instead of firing immediately. If this is a bet the Russian president would be willing to take, that of course remains to be seen. But the Americans definitely think so. A Russian missile just landed in Poland recently. Russian drones have hit Romania, but NATO has not responded forcefully. US intelligence thinks that these incidents have emboldened Putin and that he's gearing up for something much bigger. But would Putin really dare to launch an incursion into a NATO nation? Or is all of this just more fear-mongering by the United States and the West? We'll have to wait and see.
Alright, 2 more videos, but I'm probably going to just play one. Let me see what this first one's like.
Why did you select that person? You said so that I could steal her soul.
Washington watches in horror as Iranian missiles grow deadlier, raising fresh fears
Yeah, I'll just stick with this one. Because I was just making sure if this thing got like a narrator speaking.
over America's ability to respond. Could Iran's new missile warfare strategy outsmart America's arsenal as Tehran develops increasingly advanced ways to strike? Did US AI systems fail against Iran once again, as the IRGC claims to reveal how it battered American war systems? The US remains on its toes amid the Hormuz stalemate as Mojtaba's missile forces reportedly undergo a major upgrade. Iran continues to ramp up and evolve its missile systems amid the ongoing stalemate with Washington and rising tensions. IRGC spokesman Hossein Mohibi claimed Iranian missiles can now change trajectory mid-flight, making them harder to intercept. The missiles reportedly use advanced guidance and maneuvering capabilities to bypass enemy air defense systems, according to the IRGC. Mohibi also claimed Iran used missiles and drones to disrupt parts of the US power network during the conflict. Iran reportedly targeted systems behind the enemy's decision-making process, rather than focusing only on physical military sites, according to Press TV. The IRGC said, and I quote, "Iranian missiles are no longer simply launched from one point and land at another. They have guidance and maneuvering capabilities. And some can change their trajectory during flight to bypass enemy air defense systems. When a data processing system is targeted, it is not simply a building that is destroyed. Part of the enemy's decision-making capability is being targeted. Likewise, when an air defense system is destroyed, it is not merely a missile or piece of equipment that is lost. Part of the enemy's air defense network is damaged." End quote. Iran also mocked America's reliance on high-end technology, claiming several advanced systems were ultimately intercepted or neutralized by the IRGC. Mohibi claimed the US deployed AI, satellites, drones, radars and sensors throughout the war to identify and track Iranian targets. Iran further claimed America's technological network was used to identify targets, assess battlefield damage and track personnel during operations. The IRGC claimed that even this advanced technology ultimately failed to overcome Iran's resilience and ability to continue fighting. The IRGC said, and I quote, "Alongside these systems, technologies were used to identify targets, assess damage, and track human resources. In fact, artificial intelligence was the coordinating element of a major part of this technological network. AI analyzed targets based on data received from various sources, but it could not monitor the institutional and ideological power of the Islamic Republic of Iran." Recently, Iran's deadly Qadref missile came back into focus amid escalating tensions with both the US and Europe. One of the most dangerous systems is the Qadr-F, described as Iran's longest-range missile derived from the Shahab-3 family. With an estimated range of at least 2,000 kilometers, the Qadr-F can reportedly strike targets far beyond Iran's borders. The missile has already been deployed during Iran's retaliatory strikes, demonstrating its potential role in Tehran's long-range arsenal. The Qadr-F is now reportedly emerging as a serious challenge to US systems such as THAAD and Israel's Arrow missile defense network. Iran's Qadr-F. Key features are: the Qadr-F is a medium-range ballistic missile designed for long-range precision strikes and strategic deterrence. The missile is produced by Iran's Ministry of Defense as part of Tehran's expanding ballistic missile program. The Qadr-F is deployed from a mobile launcher, allowing the system to be relocated before launch. It uses a two-stage solid-fuel propulsion system designed to provide rapid launch capability and extended range. With an estimated range of around 1,950 kilometers, the missile can reportedly threaten targets far beyond Iran's immediate neighborhood. The Qadr-F measures approximately 16.6 meters in length, reflecting its substantial ballistic missile design. The Qadr-F is reportedly capable of reaching speeds of up to Mach 9, making it an extremely fast ballistic missile in its class. Its reported diameter stands at around 1.38 meters, giving the missile considerable internal volume for fuel and payload. The missile has an estimated launch weight of roughly 17,500 kilograms, making it a significant long-range weapon system. It can reportedly carry a warhead weighing around 750 kilograms, providing substantial destructive potential against strategic targets. The Qadr-F serves as a long-range strike and deterrence weapon, strengthening Iran's ability to threaten targets across a wider regional battle space. With its reported 2,000-kilometer reach, the Iranian ballistic missile could potentially place parts of Europe within its strike envelope. The Qadr-F gains even greater significance as tensions between Iran and several European nations continue to rise.
Well, since the ad came on, let me go ahead and end it because I'm already yawning. I need to bathe my butt. I'm that dirty. Stink. So I need to go ahead and clean up. Let me go ahead and get to reading. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 4. The noise of the multitude in the mountains, like as the great people, the tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Lord's getting all these people, all these nations together. They got like 50,000 troops from North Korea. As well, I was gonna say 5,000. That's for something else. But then 5,000 troops on a boat trapped on a. They trapped on a daggone ship that ain't got no working toilets. It's moldy, the food shitty. But anyway, I skipped that part. Well, Germany, they trying to, they trying to recruit as best as they can. Soon they gonna be drafting mother jokers. Oh yeah. The Lord Yahweh. But all these nations are getting shit together and they're getting these getting these troops together. I don't know what else to say. I'm tired. The Lord Yahweh the Lord Yahweh of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. So the Lord is bringing all this stuff together. Or Yahweh Bashimah Shah bringing all this together. This is their movie. This is their show. This is their story. So ain't nothing you can do about it but pray like heaven, Lord, have mercy on you. You don't end up being drafted into this bullshit war. I wouldn't say bullshit. I mean, it's prophecy, but it'd be bullshit to be fighting for your enemy. Heck yeah, you don't want to be fighting for your enemy, Esau, any of these damn heathens. Nope. What else we got? Let me read. What else we got? Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second war was past, and behold, the third war coming quickly. And it's that third World War. We had World War II. They ended with what was it? Supposedly ended with 2 nuclear bombs going to hit in Yakasaki, Fukushima from Japan. But I don't know if that really ended the war. But it just Esau Amalek had to showcase with the new sword they have. And yeah, that pretty much ended the war. But now we have World War III, and that shit gonna come fast and it's gonna end fast. That shit was by the nuclear destruction. And look what Lord hooked up Iran with some ballistic missiles, and they consider to be a threat to U.S. and whoever's against Iran. Yep. And all they got to do is strap some warheads on whatever that warhead was. That ballistic missile was. It was like, what they said was a 750. I don't know how much weight that was. Kilogram. I don't know. Shit.
I can tell you, yeah, they got ballistic missiles bigger than that, and they can put bigger nuclear warheads or multiple warheads on there. It's like a cluster bomb. Where I'm at? Yeah, second war has come. No, I mean the third war has come quickly. What else I got? Oh yeah, Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Back in the old ancient times of war, it used to be close up, hand-to-hand combat with swords and shields, fists and kicks. But now shit is more like bullets to missiles. Now, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire with the missiles and you got certain levels of fire burning. Shit. But then the ultimate fire burning gonna be that nuclear fire. Yep. And they gonna have some fire coming from out the chariots. But I'm just speaking about weapons of war on a carnal level, like missiles and with warheads attached to them, or either conventional warheads. But nuclear warheads, oh yeah, that's some serious fire right there. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Joel chapter 3 verse 9, proclaim ye among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, turn your gardening tools into weapons of warfare. Let the weak say, I am strong. And like Iran, you got new missiles. They got missiles that's a threat. You got the missile that can, it ain't just like it'll just aim to go to one direction. They can just change the directory of the missile to go somewhere else and hit this target. Yeah. And America and whoever else sees this as a threat, they like, oh shit. I mean, what's going on here? We doing shit. Yeah. I don't know what else. Let me see what else we got. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna close it out there, but yeah, man, these all the videos of war. It's my first time seeing these videos, hearing about what's going on with this news, because I don't like watching something twice. I might play a little bit of it, just like 10 seconds, just to see what they're gonna say, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna roll with it and pray the Lord put the spirit on me to talk about it and get into the scripture to my best ability. But I'm gonna close it out right now. And I hope right now you find this serious and you seeking the Lord like you should. Because if you ain't, well, you ain't. You dead. Then shit, you didn't yet. But anyway, your ass gonna either get drafted or get killed in the process during Jacob's trouble. But anyway, if you seeking the Lord, cool. And if you thinking about seeking the Lord, the best you do. And how do you seek the Lord? By seeking his prophets and taking heed what they say and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Shah. By praying Yahweh Shema Shah, praising Yahweh Shema Shah, worshiping Yahweh Shema Shah, fearing Yahweh Shema Shah, and repenting of Yahweh Shema Shah. To all the men out there pushing this truth and nothing but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Shema Shah, stay humble. And for the men who are not teaching and preaching, but just, you know, I gotta say this now that's new for my outro, because you got men that's out there teaching and preaching, but you got men out there that's not teachers and preachers of the Lord, but you want to pray like heaven, Lord have mercy on you. You just keep doing the best you can do by keeping your faith and stay locked in with the Lord. And for you few sisters out there, keep your faith and trust on Yahweh Shema Shah. Stay humble, stay in order with your man. If you ain't got no man, stay in order Yahweh Shema Shah. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.